Guys Todd with Peaceable Preparedness and Outdoors, and today we're here to go over some of my tools, comms, communications, those types of things in the bag. I'm going to try to wrap this up in another video after this and try to maybe do another follow-up video on the whole bag. I don't think I'm doing the Everly Stock J79 Sky Crane justice on its capabilities and why I chose this particular bag, but it's obviously because of the versatility for an inch bag that you can take it apart and do different things with it. So, and I'll have to kind of refer to another great channel over there. It's Renaissance Marine, and he's doing a similar breakdown on the prep of the month on bags and packs, and he's putting a three-tier system together. And I guess my concept in mind was the same thing with this particular bag, and he's doing it a lot less expensive route. But I really wanted to invest in something that's going to last me a lifetime, and I can just use it over a multiple different kind of missions, I guess you could say. But what we're going to go over today is my tools. So stay tuned. Go over the bag. I have pulled out the G2 little brother. Again, that rides inside. This is the dry bag. This does not come with the system. I purchased this afterwards. I carry my MMS sleeping system and my tent in there. On the outside here, I have some additional shelter items, water bladders, stuff like that. And then on the inside of this pouch, I also have some additional shelter items, and I keep my Gerber machete in there. Remember on my previous video, if you want to go back to that, I went over this top pouch here, which is actually another bag in of itself. And I kind of use this as an E&E or possibly just a grab-and-go bag. And I'll throw this a lot of times in other bags too. I'll detach this from the Sky Crane. This will work as a fanny pack as well as an additional to slide into another pack. But this is its own kit in itself, and basically a redundancy. The tick wrangler on the outside is one of my first tools. We're going to get into the G2 little brother and go over some of my tools. Now, it's warmer months here in North Dakota, so I'm obviously not going to have big axes and stuff. I don't need big fires. Matter of fact, I haven't had to make a fire all year because we've been in a drought. But the Gerber machete, Gerber Gator Junior 2 machete, that kind of stands on itself. Pretty self-explanatory, very inexpensive item to have. And I'm going to kind of start this from parts of the bag, not exactly whether it's a comm or a tool, but in the very top of the bag of the G2 little brother, I'm going to keep some items that have to do with communications. Write in the Rain notebook, got some face paint in there. I got my compass in there. I have some maps in there, North Dakota, Kentucky, Indiana when I was down there. But I also have a really cool Mossy Oak Trail guide. Not the most spiritual guide in the world, but there is definitely some great quotes and stuff in the Bible and how it would pertain to a survival situation and what God would do and Jesus would do in a certain situation. So I love that book. There's also areas to write in that thing. Another one of the tools I have in my very top pouch is the Browning. I don't remember the exact name, but this is one of those knives that has a razor blade in it. I like this one quite a bit because of the fact that it has like a normal knife as opposed to, you know, like your Gerber Vitals and stuff. They're really tiny. I like the G10 scales on this one. It came in its own sheath. I purchased this at Dick's on sale. And it also comes with some more interesting. You got your, like a, going around the bones and stuff like that, a real small detailed. You have a gut hook in there, and then you can also, on these, which I liked a lot, because you can get these anywhere, load normal razor blades. So that's the Browning Gold Mark or something like that. I'll flash across the screen here what the name of this actual knife is. But having one of those razor blades knives I think is pretty vital if you're going to use it for game. If you actually have to do some kind of you know, work on yourself or have to use like a razor blade in order to you know, do some kind of first aid or something like that. It's nice to have. I use this stuff all over the place. You've seen it in my top pouch as well. This is at UST. This is their fire cord, paracord, so I keep that readily available. Fire kit. Everybody's fire kit's different. I use an UST, one of these. I have another one of those again in the top pouch, so there's some redundancy. Probably my most used fire starting is this and cotton balls and Vaseline, one of these UCO storm matches. But cotton ball Vaseline with that, they pretty much start a fire and anything. UST lighter. It does have a little compass on it as well. I did throw a little bit of a reflective kind of line on there. Even though it's orange, it just helps it see it with the flashlight. And then the only other kind of fire starting I have in here in a Ziploc bag are these Zip kerosene little squares. You can chop those off. These things are absolutely phenomenal. They will start in absolutely any condition, wet, snow weather. This is what I go to in the winter almost exclusively. If I'm in the summer, I pretty much just use dry weeds or whatever. And then I just keep it in a little zipper pouch. That's my fire kit. On top, I just keep some Tasco inexpensive 16 by 32 binocs. I believe I have them monocular in my top Eberly stock fanny pack, my E&E bag too. These obviously have a little more capability, a lot easier to use, a lot more clear definition. I won't go hardly anywhere without some kind of binoc or you know, a device to help me see a little bit further, whether it's sunglasses or whatever. So I'm going to get into the tools here, G2 little brother, and basically it's very, very simple. I have this pouch, and in this pouch here I have some compact tools. They're not the strongest, they're not the best as far as anything go, but this is a kit that I keep in here, and I can transfer from kit to kit. But for an inch bag, I think it's a good baseline tools, and I'll go over some tools I would probably take with me in addition to what I have in this little pouch. And I think you'll be surprised what I have in this little pouch. Alright, so this pouch is just a bag that came, one of my duffel bags was stuffed inside, and I absolutely think these things are great. I think they should sell these on their own. But on the very top of the bag, I have a netting with some repair type tools. I have some paracord. I think I have like 200 feet of paracord on just, these are cheap little rope things you can get at Menards or a big box home improvement store for like 99 cents. Just a couple of zip ties, small ones. I have a lighter wrapped in electrical tape, and then here is that I think these were made for tripwires and setting off claymores or something like that. This is a Vietnam era, but this is your wire in here. It's yellow. There's some specific use for those different colors, but I purchased this off eBay and just for making snares and tripwire. I purchased like 6 or 7 of them, and I use them to practice stuff. I keep one in this bag. There's also a small thing of Marvel Mystery Oil in this little vial, which, you know, helps lubricate your tools, stuff like that. And again, this is an inch bag, but the whole process behind of everything is that you're going to have to resupply. There's just no way around. You can carry everything on your body. And then also in this pouch, I carry a Worksharp knife sharpening system, which I absolutely love. This thing is fantastic. Then in there, I carry a very heavy Stanley multi-tool box and wrench. I find myself a lot going for box end wrenches for certain repairs, stuff like this. This is going to get you into everything. It does have some other utility uses in it. A saw, a screwdriver. It has a file and another screwdriver on the end of that. Phillips end screwdriver, and then your normal basic blade. Hope I got all that there. But very good box end wrench. I've used this in the pinch. I have several of these when they were selling these at Walmart. I haven't been able to find any others, but it does all right, and it's definitely something you can't replicate a lot, even with a multi-tool, and that's your box end wrench. Then I have my Gerber suspension thrown in here. I think this is a fantastic multi tool. I prefer Leatherman waves, stuff like that, but for a backup style, these suspensions are fantastic, and they have the capabilities, lots of on the outside capability as far as your tools and such. You can look up different reviews on this suspension. They're inexpensive. They're really, really good. I own several of them and have been using them for years. Then in here I have a Gerber, just a folding saw. This one has the replaceable blades. This one works good. It's not your most sturdy saw. They're inexpensive, but what I really liked about the fact if you do snap a blade, there's additional blades back here. I have 4 additional blades that I'm actually putting in here that were on sale. So I bought those additional blades, and I have to put those in here yet. Haven't done that. Then I also have a Gerber folding knife in here. I believe this is called the Paraframe. It's more of a skeletized little knife. You can pick these up pretty inexpensively. They're good knives. Used to be my ADC knife. Carried quite a bit. And this one is also a serration to the Gerber serrations on the end. That's what I have for my saw. That is actually one of the items to that particular saw that I may carry an additional saw with that one come winter time, and that's my EKA folding saw. It's more like a bow saw. It also has 3 different types of saw blades in it, and that's something I would pop in here in the colder months. That thing it won't let you down, and they're not as easily breakable as these folding saws. Silky saws, everybody's going to want to recommend a Silky saw. I think they're fantastic. I owned one. I snapped the blade within the first few times out, and I've seen every video of people who raving these things. They snap the blades, and I snap the blades all the time on every folding saw, so I decided to go a little inexpensive, but to go with something I can actually replace the blades inexpensively. So it has a lot to do with cost, not the best perfect tool, I guess, and we'll get into that, and you can make your recommendations down below. I'm always looking forward to some kind of correspondence for each and every one of you. Then I just have the Gerber folding shovel. I used to think that a folding shovel or a small shovel was pretty much waste of space. And then I started carrying it, and the utility of these things are absolutely phenomenal. This one has a telescoping handle. And the compact fit and form in there, even though it's a little bit on the heavy side, fits in this pouch very perfectly. Yes, I'm Gerber heavy on my tools, and there's my last Gerber tool in here. A very small little hatchet, but it almost has the same size head as your normal little hatchet on a Gerber. But this is a little tiny hatchet. Comes in a sheath, which I can attach to a belt or hang off the side of if I'm using utility. But small tasks, making kindling for small stoves and stuff, this thing's absolutely perfect. Even chopping into bones, holds this edge very, very well, and I could get an edge on this particular little hatchet. Again, I wasn't big into these little hatchets and stuff till I got my hand on this one, and this one has shown so much utility. I use it a lot, again, making small tinder and stuff like that. Larger axe is another addition. I would more than likely in the wintertime slide my Trailhawk, my Cold Steel Trailhawk saw into this kit in addition to everything I have on here, so I'd have to put on a little extra weight. Also in the wintertime, we'll get into that probably in a whole different video, but I have a sled that I would pack away and I'd be able to take a lot more stuff. Another cool thing about this particular Gerber hatchet, the Gator hatchet, a lot of my stuff is the Gator, by the way. I love the Gator handles on everything they do. So then I also tuck away like a little paring knife in there. Again, ton of utility in this little knife. It's extremely sharp, easy to put an edge on, but for doing your fine tasks, feather sticking, all that, this thing is absolutely fantastic. And I think I spent 30 bucks on the whole thing on sale, so that is really, really cool. For a belt knife, I'm going to have my Prodigy. Again, another Gerber product. This I have the fine edge. I don't have the serrations. I'm not a big fan of serrations. I like them on. I like to have them available in some way, shape, or form. But on my Prodigy knife here, this thing is fantastic. Again, just a great handle. I like the jimping. Can double as a, somewhat of a fighting knife if you have to do something like that. Got the breaker on the back. Can put a lanyard. I'm not a super big fan of lanyards myself, but the sheath is another selling point on this. Definitely has multiple ways you can attach it. This will be carried on my belt, on the actual belt on the backpack. So that's a look at all my tools and the little pouch that it comes in. I'm going to get into my comms, communications, and my power. And there's two things that I carry for power. I have battery backups in every pack. I'll probably be taking additional battery backups, but I also carry a 14 watt Anker solar panel. All right, so in addition to the portable batteries, everything in here, I have the Anker 4-panel solar panel. Obviously, I have it in a waterproof container here. This rides in the battery pouch of the G2 little brother. What I may be in a inch, I'm actually on the phone that I'd be using. It's a Samsung S7 Active. Obviously the military grade standard stuff, got the better glass, a bit bigger battery, same camera as the S7s. Just has a few more capabilities, but it's quite a bit heavier. So S7 is what I'm filming on right now. Probably do a review on it one of these days, which you can find those anywhere. So my comms, I have my Survivor dry box. Obviously has a little compass on here well, so there's a lot of redundancy on that. Then you have like a little signaling type of mirror on the back. I am missing one thing out of here right now, and that's my crank powered battery. It broke. My crank powered little radio. All right. So in here I have my battery backups. I have some additional alkaline and additional batteries. I'll replace these alkaline batteries out with all rechargeable one of these days. In here I have my Baofeng ham radio. I'm not a ham license operator, but in case of emergency you can use these without a license. That I did switch over to the AA battery pack on the back. So this will run off of the AA batteries over there. And in the side there I also have the antenna. And I just put this in a little pouch and a somewhat extra little layer of any kind of moisture protection on that thing, because because I don't have my little hand crankable battery radio, AM, FM, NOAA radio, I can pretty much still get everything on this as far as AM, FM, and the NOA. I'm sorry, I can only get FM on this, so NOA, the radio bands, I have that all pre-programmed into this particular radio. I have an additional headlamp in here. This has red, blue, and normal lights for night sight, for tracking blood, or whatever it might be, and it's also decently bright. I think this is only like 200 lumens. It's an older Coleman Max headlamp. This I throw in there. It's just a charge doctor. It basically tells you how much volts your solar panels are throwing out. It's kind of cool to see what kind of power you're popping in there. In this particular bag, you guys should be pretty familiar with these. They're pretty popular. But this is my Goal Zero battery bank. It's a charger. It can be used as a charger to charge all my AA's and AAA batteries, as well as you can have it out on this thing too. You can have it out on this to use it as charge up your phone and stuff as well. So also in colder months, you zap your batteries very, very fast, and they're not going to have as much of the solar available here in North Dakota. So, and another thing I would add in addition to this is I have a heavy-duty, more of a outdoorsy style battery bank that I carry on my motorcycle. I've shown that. I would grab that as well. There's an overview of all the tools and such, as well as communication and mapping and stuff like that. I don't have a GPS at this moment in time. I do use my phone for that. Obviously, in a grid down situation, it'd probably be something I'd like to get. I'm looking at options on GPSs right now. I don't know if I want to go more to the eTrek, which I've owned in the past, or for something that I want to be able to use among different platforms, like on my kayak and stuff like that. So I'm still I'm looking into a GPS unit as far as doing that. But here in North Dakota, I'm not going to have a problem finding my way around with a map and just kind of knowing where I'm at. If I'm in an urban area somewhere outside of North Dakota, that might be a whole different story, but it's a whole different thing up here. We have nothing but prairie and very few trees and such. They're all kind of along the river, and if you can get your way to the river, you'll find your way around. So anyways, I will never have an issue finding my way around in North Dakota, just saying. So again, that's the overview of what I have. I'm going to flip it around and kind of do a wrap up here. All right, thanks so much for tuning in to my inch bake series. Sorry there's such a lag in between videos. I'm going to try to get these done a little bit quicker. Like I said, I think I have one more video here after this. We're going to go over all shelter items and those types of things. Let me see if I can get you out of the sun here. And how I pack the bag will be my final and last video. And then I'm going to pack the bag, and then I'm going to head out and do like a mock one night solo bug out with what I got going on. Now, I do have kids. I have a 15 and a 13-year-old, soon to be 16-year-old. Both daughters who love the outdoors, but probably not big into the preparedness aspect as I am. So I have additional backpacks for them that are more geared towards hiking rather than bugging out, so to speak. So I find it to be very important to do that. So those might be some other videos coming up here, is looking at those two Gregory backpacks we have set up for those two. But this is what I have. Those are the tools I have. Again, everybody has their preferences in tools, makers, whatever. I have chosen to go primarily Gerber in this inch bag setup. I own some additional knives and such that are bigger, larger, but I think for overall, I got pretty much a basis covered. There's some things I would pack in addition to that particular kit in winter months, and I would take my Coldmaster, Trailmaster axe. Again, that's not the biggest, most felling axe. And this is, again, taking consideration that I'm not going to be in my truck, because there's a bunch more stuff in my truck. This is considering that I would have to ditch the truck. And so in colder months, I would go in the back of my kit, grab my Trailmaster axe and my EKA saw. You can also look at some other things as tools, and that's defense tools. As you're talking about, you know, your rifle, your pistol, your shotgun, bolt action, that kind of stuff. Those are all going to be with me. I'm not an expert in any by means whatsoever, and I'm not a gun nerd, I guess you could say. If it works and it shoots and I can hit something 100 yards away, I'm fine with it. I've been hunting deer all my life, bow hunting, all that kind of stuff. I'm primarily a bird hunter, but so most of my money goes into my shotgun. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense to you. I run a Bushmaster Carbon 15 AR-15. Go ahead and bash it all you want. I've never had a malfunction in that rifle, and I've shot well over 1,000 rounds out of that thing. And it's so light, it's so maneuverable. I absolutely love that particular. Pistols, I have two pistols that I would be taking with me. One on me would be I run a SD 40 VE. Again, another handgun everybody wants to slam because of its inexpensiveness, but functional to say the least. And then I'd also bring my Smith & Wesson A122 long rifle pistol that I think basically covers all the bases of survival for my needs. That's the gun that would be in my pack. It is also in my pack right now. And then I'd also try to strap on the outside my compound bow and the additional 10 or 15 arrows that I could bring in. That all fits on that pack. We'll go over that in detail, but those are the defense tools that I'd be taking with me in any retrospect. And there would probably be some, as you can see in some of my intros that I've been doing, I have a battle belt that I'm trying to work into the system of the Eberle stock that would ride on my belt. And I have a chest rig. I'm trying to work that into the system too, so I can have my defense capabilities ready to rock and roll. Because I don't know, I just feel like I would like to have a system I can just grab and go and be able to defend myself, family, and our country. So that's all I have for you folks here today, here on the P711 channel up here in Bismarck, North Dakota. And that is really about all there is to say on the tools and stuff I have in my inch bag. Again, I want to thank Sergeant Badass over there on the Step 1 Survival channel and Sippy Cup for hosting this really fun series of preparedness and having a inch bag, I'm never coming home bag. And this one I've been working on for some time, and it's a bag that I've invested a ton of money just to have, just in case, and hope that I never have to use it. So I try to have fun with it. That's probably why I went with a more versatile bag, so I could do more things with it and such. So that's all. Hey guys, this is Todd with P711 Preparedness and Outdoors, and please, always remember, always be prepared to live outdoors.